What's up, guys? So this thug decided that he was going to go pee on the grave of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old who was stabbed and killed by Carmelo Anthony, who has now been convicted of murder. Yeah, this guy decided to go pee on his grave and captioned it, "Woke up and chose violence. Free hashtag Carmelo Anthony." Now, something that I noticed that I think a lot of people probably wouldn't, because most people probably aren't too familiar with gangs, is his username. It's One Big Rich Folks with a Z74. Now, the comments on that picture have been taken down, and it appears that this guy has scrubbed his entire profile. There is nothing to be seen. It says user not found. But again, take a look here.
All right. Shalom. All praises, honor, glory, blessings, and power be to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of the body, and shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end. Now, those of you more than likely have watched this video and seen the comparison also video of Elder ICR, Elder ICR's channel, of the comparison of an Edomite and the Carmelo Anthony situation, right? And the fact that, you have the savage, right? The Edomite, which is a so-called white man, his track record and blood receipts are everywhere across the four corners of the earth. The savage calling, right? The people that have been attacked, enslaved, destroyed, okay, over over many hundreds of years, right? Calling them savages. Now, I'm not saying that Jake isn't a savage out here. Jake's been made into a savage, all right? And we know how, okay? Deuteronomy 20 verse 54, okay? Your eyes shall be evil towards your brother, right? The curses, okay? As well mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, as well as Esau, Edom, and the heathen nations trying to cut us off from being a nation and pursuing just, which is in Psalms 83, right? Which will break it down, how they've been doing it. Ultimately, so Jake can be eliminated. Jake meaning the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians are of Negro Indian descent, as well as the Israelite foreigners. Okay? But nevertheless, they show an image of what looks like to be a so-called black man, an Israelite, peeing or urinating on the deleted Edomite's grave. Now, okay, I'm not going to go into the rest of what the Edomite is saying, okay? I want to say this, though. Whether it's AI or the real deal or crisis actors, it's all prophecy, okay? It's all prophecy. Now, I'm going to say that again. Whether it's AI or the real deal or crisis actors, it's all prophecy. It's all Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, okay? Because the Lord controls the right-hand side and the left-hand side, all right? Which is mentioned in Isaiah 45, verse 7. Okay, the Lord controls the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Now, we know these crackers, the powers that be, are trying to. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of instability in this world. We're seeing the end of Esau, Edom's kingdom. All right, the curses are coming upon these devils slowly but surely. Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. We're seeing, their smiles turn to frowns. Their bright-eyed faces from the 80s and 90s turn into grey faces today, and no optimism anymore, because the white man's rulership is diminishing. Okay, and now what Esau Edom's going to do is wants to collapse society. Problem, reaction, solution, race war, Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Okay, Jacob's trouble, which you are going to be the primary target, Jacob, but everybody else is going to fall into the trap and snare, all the heathen nations too, along with the so-called white man. But the elect, which is mentioned in Zechariah 13:8 and 13:9, the 1/3 will make it through. The 2 parts will be cut off. Okay, and the unelect Jakes will get got. But the elect are going to be okay during that time of trouble, right? And so whether it's AI or the real deal, right, or crisis actors, is all prophecy. All right. Okay, and whether it's 2/3 Jakes just doing this shit, well, they're 2/3, right? They're going to do things like this. All right, and also they're making Jacob the face of all criminality when it's a so-called white man. And statistics have been brought out by so-called white people as well as Israelites regarding the atrocities and crimes that these crackers, these Edomites commit, these so-called white people commit. And it's completely surpasses way, way, way over compared to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. I mean, this is your rulership, is it not, so-called white man? So why are you committing so much damn crime? Huh? Is it your rulership or not? Right? But nevertheless, they're making Jacob the primary target. They're making all people the primary target because they want a race war, right? You know, they're doing the Chinks, the Chinese people, Moab during the C19. Now with this, the deleting of a young Israelite in a store by a so-called Chinese, whatever, some kind of Asian person. I don't know. I think it's a Chinese person. Well, it's some kind of Asian anyway. Moab or Ammon in America, right? You got that. Then you got this Arab thing or Sudanese thing or Hamite thing in Ireland, right? Okay, so you got a lot of people of color that are scared there because in Ireland right now, you got Turkish people being attacked. You got Hamites being attacked. You got Jakes being attacked. You got heathens that are of color being attacked, right? In the UK, you've got this Henry Nowak thing, right? Where, they've always been, Esau's been, sort of like, yeah, also the Somalians have been thrown under the bus in America and over here. East Indians have been thrown under the bus here. Jake has been thrown under the bus here. Nigerians and West Indians. These crackers like to use the term usual suspect. Actually, cracker, Esau, Edom, you're the usual suspect. You're the trouble and the problem of the earth. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, is it not? You control everything, all the statistics, all the numbers, all the viewings, right? You control everything. You freaking write the damn books, right? Okay? You're the author of the lies. So hence the reason why your people are going to believe the lies, but the skirts are being lifted now. All right? Loosely paraphrasing scripture, the skirts are being lifted and we're seeing what you motherfuckers are about. All right? Now, back to the other side of the Atlantic. All right? Now, you were the Sikhs being thrown under the bus. Now, the Sikhs, as I was raised in a family like this, right? Because a lot of Sikhs are actually Israelites, all right? Brother Napash of GMS in the UK has brought it out as well, because he's spoken to a lot of Sikhs. You got Orthodox Sikhs that have the long beards and the turbans, because what Sikhs here with the turbans and beards do is they take a vow of not cutting their hair or cutting their beards all their life, and they don't drink alcohol, right? Things of that nature. They call themselves saint soldiers, right? And they are very helpful people because Jacob has a huge heart. And every single Sikh temple here in the UK or worldwide has food 3 times a day. People can go and eat and drink, and they're very helpful people. I know they're Jacob. So this is not really a sentiment that or thing done by the Sikh Jakes, right? Pissing and shitting on somebody's grave. But nevertheless, there was this was a TikTok video, and there was a poll held, right? And they were talking about about pissing and shitting on Henry Nowak's grave, right? So this is happening on the both sides of the Atlantic. So which goes to show, right? Esau Edom is up to his tricks to cause a race war. Problem, reaction, solution. Hegelian dialectic. Race war kicks off. Esau pulls his troops out, and then you got martial law, right? You got the instability of the pound, dollar, and euro, financial crash, more than likely simultaneously, right? And lo and behold comes in Esau's New World Order, the micro CHIP, and lockdowns and things of that nature. And obviously we've heard about the diseases and the other pestilences in the background also. So it's all coming together, building up a picture, which the Yahweh Bashim Yashai has mentioned in the Bible. Okay, I mean, which the prophets have mentioned in the spirit power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai in the Bible, because they were moved by the Holy Spirit, and it's mentioned, and the Bible is is alive and obviously alive and kicking is the Bible, but these things are actually happening in real time right now. All right, so they're throwing every single nationality around the world under the bus, but the primary target is you Israelites, because they're going quite hot and heavy on the Israelites in America, And they were going hot and heavy on the Muslims, but the Muslims are primarily Ishmael and Elam, right? But the bulk of Jake are the Sikhs, West Indians, and Nigerians who they're throwing under the bus. Okay, I can say because I grew up in a Sikh family, so I know, right? Okay, obviously he's an Orthodox Sikh. That's hence the reason why he wears a meat trees with the long beard and all that. Obviously, there's Sikhs out there that don't wear their meat trees and all that unless it's some kind of special occasion. Some Sikhs don't have beards; they shave or they trim their beards low. They've got short hair, like regular folk. So the Sikhs are a huge number here in the UK, and they were, all the talent comes out of northern India, the warriors, the wrestlers, or the musicians, everything that makes India pop. A lot of Nigerian Jakes gravitate towards Bollywood, and most of Bollywood is actors and actresses are Jake. At least I would say at least 70 to 80% of them, right? Only an Israelite foreigner can recognize what's going on, and like myself, because I can see it, and it's all coming together. So they're trying to cause this instability worldwide. Now, not that I'm making a video to stop it. May Yahweh shall progress this and let this happen, but what I'm trying to do is point out the fact that we can see past, we can see what these devils are trying to do, okay? Because the Lord did say, be circumspect because the days are evil, loosely paraphrasing the scripture. I'm going to get some scriptures in a second, but I just want to read what's stated here, right? Tommy Robinson's Sikh friend holds TikTok poll on whether to piss or shit on Henry Nowak's grave, all right? The amount of good things Sikhs, West Indians, Nigerians, Jamaicans have done for the world, right? That doesn't ever get mentioned. But as soon as one little thing happens, every single person of that particular group or tribe gets thrown under the bus. But when a so-called white man rape or grapes a Sikh girl here in the UK, did you see any Sikh, or when a black girl got graped in Birmingham or London, when they create these stories, did you see every so-called black person throwing the person that did the graping under the bus? Oh yeah, you all of you, your whole race of people are like that. Even though the so-called white man is like that, collectively they're evil by nature. And we know Tommy Robinson is working for the small hats. All right, okay, but Jake is still going to be somewhat fair, saying that it's not all of them, it's just some of them. But Jake's in the truth, like ourselves, hope for elect. We know that these damn devils are all the same collectively. All right. But nevertheless, this is all going in the direction of a race war. So you're talking about pissing and shitting on graves in America. And at the same time, here in the UK, the same things are happening. So it goes to show that, Esau Edom is trying to do his things, right? Because they know they've got a short time left. Revelation 12, verse 12. Because, time is short. And they've got to get their new world order off the ground. They've got to try and get their project, they've got to bring it to fruition, as they say, right? Tommy Robinson's Sikh friend holds TikTok poll on whether to piss or shit on Henry Nowak's grave. A man understood to have appeared as a VIP guest at events linked to Tommy Robinson has held a TikTok live in which he and other participants allegedly ran a poll asking viewers to vote on whether to urinate or defecate on Henry Nowak's grave, sparking widespread outrage and calls for a police investigation. All right. The leaked 4-minute clip, which has spread rapidly across social media, allegedly features Sikh activist Bobby Singh, who posts under the handle at Bobby Singh Esquire on Instagram alongside other men on live stream. According to descriptions of the footage circulated across multiple platforms, the participants mocked the deleted 18-year-old student, described him as a dangerous racist who deserved it. Well, these crackers are like that. When there was a Sikh young child in 1974, I remember somebody called Gurdeep Chagga who was stabbed by skinheads and chucked over a hedge, a young Israelite foreigner boy, right? Definitely a Jake boy, because I remember I was like 2 years old at the time, all right, when that happened, all right. It was in a primarily Israelite foreigner and a West Indian neighborhood. Skinheads were going around, right? They got a 14. This is what these crackers do. A young child, 14 years old, they juked him up and chucked him over a hedge, left him there to bleed to die, right? Okay. And afterwards, Jake did get down and start smacking up skinheads and all that. But nevertheless, you didn't see Jake going around beating up every random white person at that time. But these crackers, when it happens to them, it's like the world stops and they just put everybody under the bus, not focusing on the actual individual that did it, allegedly. But we know the powers that be have technology and artificial intelligence that looks very realistic. What regular people use to make videos or prank videos using AI, that's one level, but they've got levels that the powers that be that use that look very, 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 very realistic. Okay. Described him as a dangerous racist who deserved it, presenting the stabbing as an act of fighting oppression, framing it as a message to the wider UK audience not to mess with Sikhs. Derogatory remarks about white people were also allegedly made toward the end of the stream. All right. When Sikhs don't really have that thing because you got so-called black Sikhs, you got so-called white Sikhs as well. All right, in America. And also Stephen Lawrence, a West Indian young lad that was stabbed by 3 Edomites here in the UK in the 90s. Stephen Lawrence. Did you see all the Jamaicans or the West Indians stabbing up crackers and Edomites at that time? Those 3 Edomites weren't sorry for what they did. I believe some of them have been released. I'm not too sure. Okay? They're not sorry for what they did. But yet, one of these Edomites gets done, everybody gets thrown under the bus. Okay? That's what these devils are like, man. All right? Jacob still has some kind of, what they call being fair or level-headed in their mind. Saying that, it's not all of them, it's just some of them. Whereas these crackers, you do all the good in the world. You feed these honkies, you be nice to the elderly, you be respectful. Yeah? Okay, that gets all, that doesn't get talked about. But it's mentioned. Oh, they're such nice. Oh, the Sikhs are so nice. Oh, the West Indians are so nice. Jamaicans are so nice. They're so lively people. The Nigerians are so nice. Their food is nice. They're such lively people. But as soon as one Jake does something bad, they're niggers, they're wogs, they're gollywogs, hang them, deport them. When this country was built upon the money that was stolen from India, okay, Israelite strongholds around the world, West Africa, America, okay? The whole world Esau has stolen, all right? But nevertheless, it's all prophecy leading to the destabilization of this kingdom. Because Esau wants to bring his project into fruition, which is a new world order. Okay? Let's go to some scriptures now. I was all over the place with it because, let's get some scriptures. It's 18 minutes. Let's get a couple of scriptures. They've got a short time, man. A very short time. And things it's going to be a bumpy ride, man. I don't know how the rest of summer's going to pan out. We're almost halfway through June, right? We're coming to July the 4th, the 250th year of Esau Edom's solidification of their rulership in America, or their rulership, right? The New World Order, the Babylonian Rome all over again, America, right? And most heathen rulerships, okay, which has been brought out in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai by our elders of Great Millstone, double honors to them again, right? Don't go past a certain period or point, okay? Because remember, like in the book of Daniel, okay, the only eternal rulership is going to be the Israelite one, okay? Okay, under the spirit power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. The rest of the heathenistic rulerships, okay, they're heathenistic rulerships. They're not eternal. Okay, they were there for a short duration, for Jake to get whooped and learn time and time again. Now we're at the final captivity, where the elect have definitely learned, and we are about to go home. And Esau Edom's going to come down so hard, okay? You Jakes are going to think, man, what the fuck is going on? Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Let me just write something at a time. Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. These devils have a short time. Okay? They know if they don't get it done now, right, they're not going to ever have a chance. You think these devils want to go into slavery? They've got a looking glass, Project Looking Glass. Okay? That crystal balls type thing. They can see in the future, whatever situation they do, like what's that movie, man? Final Destination. Whatever they do, right? They go from point A to C to the D to the E to the F. It all comes back to the same point again. They get deleted, like in the movie Final Destination. Just like Esau Edom, they're trying to go from this angle, from that angle. Let's try this, let's try that. Let's just see if we can rule in the future also, like we've been ruling now. It all comes to the same point. These crackers, these Edomites have been weighed. They've had their rulership. They've had their time in the sun. Now it's time for them, to let go of the world, right? And go into slavery, all right? And that race war is coming. Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. I've been recently reading the book of Samuel and 2 Samuel. I'll be reading the book of Samuel and 2 Samuel, reading about King David, and, when he's being chased by Saul's troops and all that, the hundreds and thousands of soldiers and, the men were bigger, stronger, more deadlier. They were trained martial artists and stuff, because martial arts comes from Jake, all right? At that time, you think, damn, can you, imagine being chased by big, strong, tough Jakes and even heathens and shit, they were wearing the armor and they got the swords and weapons out and, imagine being chased like that. I said, that's a scary situation to be in, and how much more now with Esau's weaponry. And hence the reason why we're going to need spiritual power, man. There's no way. I don't care if you're a bad man, you're 6'2", Jake, you're a second, third dan black belt, you're swole as fuck, and you can fight. The Lord has blessed you with that skill. Okay, cool. For the short duration, you're going to whoop a couple of crackers, couple of ninjas, 2/3 and all that. Unelect, all right, because the 2/3 are in America. But I'm talking about from a UK and America perspective, right? But when the super soldiers come, right? When the soldiers come that are like the $6 million man with Lee Majors, that are part machine, part so-called human, that have been enhanced. They're shooting laser beams out of their eyes, right? Because they're cyborgs or whatever. The Terminator soldiers, the robotoid or cyborg type dogs, right? The diseases they can shoot into you. They can chuck smoke bombs with diseases in it or something. I'm not too technically savvy in terms of the weaponry talk, right? But I'm just saying the shit they show in movies, they're going to utilize, okay? Because they know the elect are going to get spiritual power. So they're going to need the amplification on their end, on the left-hand side, because Esau was given the blessing of the sword. So they've got some badass left-hand side weapons, right? And they're going to need that from their perspective to fight the Lord and fight the elect, okay? Hence the reason why Yahweh Shemashai has to give the elect the power on this side before the great change, before the elect are beamed into the chariots. Those 144, some Jakes will get that power on this side because it's going to be necessary. All right? Matthew 24 and 21 again. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. We're coming right to the climax of this world. Okay? Before the nukes hit America and other parts of the world, right? Before the Lord returns and when the Lord is returning, there's going to be a whole host of carnage, man. All right? Before the Lord returns, a whole host of carnage. Because Esau, Edom, right? You just think about it. You're being dragged away, right? You think about it. You've had a great life. You've got a beautiful wife and concubines. You've got money in your pocket. You've got a great home, right? You've had it good. And then you've been told that on the 27th of July, for example, 2026, or you know that it's coming, or let's just say in a matter of 6 months you're going into slavery, and then that day comes, or you got like say a couple of months notice, hypothetically speaking, oh well, you're going to slavery, our time is over. You think that person who's got access to weaponry, bunkers, right, and their blessing is a sword, especially Esau Edom, you think they're going to go away willingly? Just like a goat that they are, they're going to be bitching and moaning and crying. And as they are, because Esau likes to use the word chimp out, they're going to chimp out, and they're going to be like digging into the ground, saying, "No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You're not taking me to slavery, nigger. Wog, you ain't taking. I'm not going down." They're going to be fighting tooth and nail. So it's going to get really grimy out here. Okay. And you 2/3 unelect Jakes and you heathens ain't going to know what time it is. What the fuck is going on? You don't know which way to turn. But the elect are privy and know where we are, where we're going. No, so where we are, where we're at, and where we're going. We've already won the battle in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemeh Shah. We just have to go through each, like a movie. You have to go through each act or each action. I'll say that. Right? Okay. All right. We know what you devils are about, man, because the skirts are being lifted. All right. We know what you're about. Your New World Order, Illuminati wasn't conspiracy theories, they're conspiracy facts. All right. Jeremiah 13:26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. You Edomites and you heathens' shame is appearing. Okay. You make threats. Oh yeah, you need us. We don't need you. Well, when Jacob spends the most money, you need the Israelites for the economy. Oh, send them back to their own countries. Millions must be deported. Yeah, deport. But give us the money you stole from our lands. We'll happily go to our lands. But then watch your economy fall even further, because it's the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, as well as the Israelite foreigners, that keep your economies afloat. That actually do all the so-called SHIT jobs. You crackers are lazy. You got 3 teeth in your mouth. You got all the time in the world for marches and calling people the N-word. None of you motherfuckers work. You can't even read a sentence correctly. All right? But we know what you're about. And you've seen your shame. All the truth is coming out. Even Putin brought out all the imagery and the all the artifacts regarding the so-called black images or dark images of Europe, the dark images of the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Okay? That it was, pursuing the book of 2nd Maccabees 3:48, where the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay? All the truth is coming out that you are a nobody people. 2nd Ezra 6:54 lets you know that these other nations are nobody. And you crackers are finding out. And you want to hold on to your lies. Along with the fact that you don't want to go into slavery, it's going to get grimy out here. But we know now. Okay? We know. Jeremiah 13:26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, that thy shame may appear. And you're ashamed. And you want to cover up that shame. Okay? With violence. Okay? All right, but the elect are good money, man. We want this to happen. You know why? Because we want to go home. We have to go through this. Why? Because if we don't, how the fuck are we going to go home? This has to happen. This is a must. This is a necessity. All right? You're not going to get into the kingdom without violence, man. Violence is going to happen. Okay? This is going to happen. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Verse 16. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Okay? The days are evil. Bad times. All right? Ain't gonna, it's not gonna go back to, that world, man. Those of us that are old enough. You remember those days, man. MTV Bass, and I don't know whether you guys had that in the UK, in America, but we had MTV Bass here with R&B and hip hop tracks, and that feeling of the sun shining, and you listen to your favorite R&B track, and you get yourself ready, and it's Friday night. You're gonna go and pick up your woman. You know what I mean? And you're walking arm in arm. You very rarely see couples walking arm in arm anymore, like with a smile on their face. You don't see that shit no more. It's like, where the hell do couples go? That's my experience here in the UK, in London anyway. All right. I remember a time when everybody's coupled up and the romance was heavy. Those days are gone. We're coming to a very, very, very violent world, man. All right. But you know what? The elect are going to be good. You know why? Because the elect have wisdom and stability. Okay? Wisdom and stability. All right? Now, wisdom and stability has been blessed, which is a gift from Yahweh Hashem Yashai, man. It's a beautiful gift, man. Gosh. Trying to find it. All right. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, is his treasure. Okay, and fearing the Lord is a form of spiritual power. Okay, because you have a spiritual compass of knowing what to do and what not to do. All right. Obviously, the laws play a part of that as well, which is the blessing of the Lord. All right. Okay. So whatever, as I'm going to mention it again, whether it's AI, crisis actors, or the real deal, because it's a combination of everything, it's all prophecy. Okay. Because this world is coming to a close and these things are going to happen. The race war will happen. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings and power be to Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, B'Hashem Rakak Kodash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.